Broadcasting live from the basement of the Pentagon. This is WTF Nation Radio.
This is a public service announcement from C.T. Fletcher. I will not contribute to the pussification of a nation. Get your punk ass out there and work for it, motherfucker.
Let's roll.
Morning, Sergeant Major.
How do you know what kind of goddamn day it is?
Beautiful morning, Sergeant Major.
Are you a fucking weatherman now?
You're listening to Sergeant's Time on WTF Nation Radio.
Time. U.S. Army W.T.F. Moments. WTF Nation Radio on this 13 March 2025 in the year of our DOD Memos dumpster fire. Deep within the basement of the Pentagon, somewhere in Area 51. Maybe somewhere out there in the Alamo, or maybe in the Stargate in Cheyenne Mountain. Maybe in the Space Force base at Vandenberg. There you go, I got it now. Match host. Spanky's chilling. Spanky's doing some spanky things. So you know me, when I when I don't have Spanky with me, I kind of get a little. I can kind of run on my own stuff. Oh man! So welcome to Sergeant's Time on this. Man, what is going on? I'm just gonna cut the mustard and cut to the chase. Well, first off, real quick, let me just say we got a guest tonight. Master Sergeant retired Jack Dona is returning to give us an update on the Stolen Valor bill in Arizona, and I'll let him do all the talking and all that, but I won't spoil it. But yeah, some interesting developments have occurred, and so now he's going to give us an update, and I've been waiting for him to come back to shoot the shit with us, because I'm going to tell you what, there's a lot of stuff happening in politics when it comes to Stolen Valor, and you don't realize. You would think, oh, well, this is Stolen Valor. This is not a big deal. This is not a big deal, right? Stolen Valor, no big deal, right? Yeah, yeah, you would think so, but apparently some political interests have been involved, and we will get to that. We'll get to the bottom of it, or we'll at least get a good update from Jack. Always provides a good update on a lot of his news, and he's always keeping us informed. So we're looking forward to have him come back. At any rate, wow. So, yeah, I'm just going to say this right now. Here is the thing. There are a lot of memorandums that have been coming out from the Department of Defense. And it's been coming out pretty, just bam, 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 bam. Coming out pretty steadily. The audience, or I should say the followers, the audience, the service members, we all have questions. Specifically those in the retired community, the veteran community, and the active and reserve and National Guard components. But Secretary of Defense has been throwing out some memos that has a lot of people scratching their heads or saying, well, like we like to say, this is U.S. Army WTF moments, W.T.F. And I think personally, just me, that I think when these memorandums come out, they come out with a lot of ambiguity. There's nothing behind it. It's a lot of vague posting, a lot of vague. Oh, this is what's going to happen, and we're going to do this. And the first memorandum I'm going to discuss, because we are talking memos, is the one that is the rapid force wide view of standards. Watch out. Here we go. We have standards. Didn't realize we didn't have standards before, but of course, I'm going to be using a little bit of hyperbole and sarcasm in this, or as some of my other more cultured friends, I'll snark. Thank you. So, yes, I can see that discussing it. This is not a snark. At any rate, so real quick, the one thing that stood out, and if you guys have seen this being circulated all over social media, and of course, we discuss it and then we post it, so that way you guys can get the context. Obviously, if you don't follow U.S. Army WTF Moments or whatever on Facebook, where a lot of the banter goes back and forth, but it goes on, it's going to get posted on all the other ones and all that. I had some comments to it that I'll add my own opinions, so that way you guys know where I'm coming from. So for those of you that are driving or not been able to look at the screen or just hearing the scratchy, scraly sound of my voice, this was signed March 12th, 2025. High standards are what made the United States military the greatest fighting force on the planet. True. The strength of our military is our unity and sure people. True. We are made stronger and more disciplined through high and uncompromising. Wait, it's not pronounced hyperbole? Hyperbole, just saying, yeah, hyperbole. We are made stronger and more disciplined with high, uncompromising and clear standards. True. Yes, true. I'm directing the Undersecretary of Defense for Personnel and Readiness to gather the existing standards set by the military departments pertaining to physical fitness, body composition, and grooming, which includes, but not limited to beards. Now, everyone's like, oh, shit, what does this mean? What is beards back on the table? Are beards going to be denied? We don't know. The USD PNR. Yeah, I guess I'll be hip and say some acronyms there. I won't do the Army thing and try to make a pronounceable acronym word out of it. But USD PNR. Yeah, and all of a sudden I said beards, man. All you guys in the comments just flying out of the woodwork. We'll conduct a review of these standards and how they've changed since January 1st, 2015. The review will also provide insight on why those standards changed and the impact of those changes. USDPNR has authority to task the secretaries of military departments and other DOD components as necessary to provide the required information in support of this review. Yeah, Patrick says the APFT might come back. Yeah, exactly. We must remain vigilant in maintaining the standards that enable men and women of our military to protect the American people and our homeland and the world's most lethal and effective fighting force. You guys remember back when General Mattis was like, all he was talking about was lethality. We just, and you and I, lethality, that everyone mocked it. I posted something on social media about us mocking it. Us mocking lethality, warfighter, lethality, knife hand, lethality. The most lethal and effective fighting force, our adversaries are not growing weaker, and our tasks are not growing less challenging, which is true. This review will illuminate how the department has maintained the level of standards required over the recent past and trajectory of any change in those standards. Now, everyone's like freaking going, oh, what does that mean? What is that? What's going to happen? Yeah, exactly that. Exactly that, Braden. That is a freaking tongue twister. Well, man, I mentioned beards and Mad Dog, and everybody's flying in the comments now. What's up, Sports Bar? What do you hear? What do you say? Oh, hey, I saw real quick sidebar. I saw a veteran video. It was a USO / Wounded Warrior video on Paulie Walnuts, and it was pretty cool. The guy who played Paulie Walnuts on Sopranos. That's pretty cool. Okay, so let me get back to the comments in here because the comments, you guys are making me laugh, and I don't want to break character here. Okay, so let me read some of the comments. It's pronounced hyperbole. Yep, got it. Kilgore says beards for everybody. Joe says beards win. Patrick says APFT to make a return. Keith says, ooh, but it doesn't include Third Reich tattoos. You're going to have to talk to the Special Forces Regiment. They like to put skulls and stuff on the back of their helmets. Ooh, too soon. Sorry, bros. I'm just saying. That was just funny. Tongue twister, yep. Pip says, he wants everyone, including the women, to look like that SF guy that he PT'd in Germany. Oh, man. They mocked it because the viewed leaders by saying lethality by as being dramatic when we've always needed that shit. Yep, exactly. Exactly that. That's what I'm saying. We're lethal. We need more lethality. And I'm like, if we look at some of the safety accidents and some of the engagements and operations that we've conducted, we've been lethal as fuck. Oops, sorry. God, I forgot. I forgot. This is a more professional forum discussing sergeant's time. My apologies to everybody out there. I had to cover their ears and. But are female soldiers allowed to have beards? Tony Sirico was a vet. Even mentioned it in the show. Yep, exactly. Yep, he mentioned it a few times. Yeah, you know. What did he say? Did my time in the Army, spent time in the can. That was one of I'm paraphrasing, of course. So everyone's freaking out about what this is going to look like. Now, here's my message to all the service departments. Here's your chance. Here's your chance, service department. Here's your chance to shine. Born to be alive. Your chance to shine is now. From 2015 up to present, you have plenty of fucking briefs. Plenty of briefs that have been given testimony. You've had testimony in Congress by our service leaders, our chiefs of staff, or commandants of Marine Corps, or commandants. Y'all got the data. Just send that. Get ready to brief it. Just brief it. This is what happened, and this is what we're saying. Now, here's my thing. Pertaining to physical fitness, I kind of have like everyone's asking me, okay, so what did you say personally? What was your personal opinion? And of course, I might have some F-bombs in there, so you never know. I might drop some F-bombs. Shout out to my friends out in Australia, the Australian Defense Forces. Thank you. Appreciate the love. Who knew I had fans in Australia? And I do have some friends and fans out there in Australia. So, well, actually, U.S. Army W.T.F. Moments has some followers and fans out there in Australia. So, anyways, yeah. So it's kind of like, okay. So everyone's asking about my opinion to this, and I'm going to clean up what I posted again. Being the Sergeant's Time is a professional forum, we lead a professional development, discussing of doctrine and strategy. So my reaction to the post was the Army has been honing their fitness standards, and although not perfect, has improved immensely. Now I'm reading this from what I posted, and I'm going to clean up a little bit. And I go, how about a focus on the defects and why our troops live in almost squalor conditions? It's all connected, baby. Quote unquote, of me, my own quote. I go, this is squad leader shit. Our squad leaders have tried to fix this shit and are unable. Just ask the force. Ask a soldier who's down in the line out at 3rd ID, or a soldier who's at 4th Infantry Division, or a soldier who's out at 7th ID out at JBLM, or 1st Cav out at Fort Cavazos. And ask them how much time do they have for their soldiers to make sure that they have a balanced meal and a good fitness regimen. We have tasked out our troops that a good fitness regimen is it's damn near impossible. And all the fat troops that we get in the inbox, we used to post that stuff way back in the day. You guys remember that? And then of course, as we matured as a page, as we matured a little, coming to find out why soldiers were fat, why we some of the pictures that we got, and why we post that as we posted that they were overweight, they were fat. I'll say it, they're fat. And we get down to the nitty gritty, and this is when leader engagement hit U.S. Army W.T.F. Moments, which we're kind of proud of, that the leaders have been able to get in the inbox and say, that picture that you posted of that soldier is going through a med board because they got thyroid issues, or they broke their leg on a jump and they can't PT anymore and they're getting med boarded out. Or the other one is yes, that individual, yes, that's fat. That person's fat. He's getting out. He knows he's fat. And some input in the inbox is, hey, look, I failed my PT test and I got overweight. And these are all anecdotal stuff that we could produce. Where's our brief? Do you think we should give this the Secretary of Defense our brief too? We had soldiers admit it. I wanted to get out. I wanted to get out of the Army because I was tired of rotating in and out of Afghanistan and Iraq, and I purposely got fat on purpose. So can you please post my picture of me being fat? All right, you sure? And there we go. So we posted the pic. Everyone freaked out because we posted this large, very rotund individual. And this individual kept saying, I want to get out. I'm tired of doing these back-to-back, almost, whatever. We don't believe in dwell. I've never heard about that. We have the most lethal fighting force, but we will burn you out and not follow any of the policies that we had before that I guess we were so lethal before, right? Our dwell policy. Some soldiers actually try their asses off to work out and lose weight. And of course, the inbox is, oh, that's one. I can show you some fatties in SOF. I can show you some fatties in combat arms organizations. Fat has the fatness or whatever. It's all, I'm going to tell you what, it all comes together. You got a soldier that lives in crappy barracks, who then lives in, who then gets crappy chow in the DFAC, who has to then suffer and eat the preservatives and trash food out of the PX because they're working them. All the way to say, I'm out. Yeah, exactly that. He wanted to get out. And of course, unit fitness programs are not there. We can revamp and call it H2F and human performance. And these soldiers are like athletes. Our inbox says different. Currently, right now, for instance, there are soldiers that are that have medical issues, and some of them are pregnant. Now, mind you, this is a rumor. Rumor right now, we're trying to confirm that there's an organization out there that wants to send their and I'll say it. We got to say it. There's always a term in the military for soldiers like this: broke soldiers and profiles and pregnant soldiers. And once we confirm this information, of course, it'll get posted on U.S. Army. Don't forget them toxic. Don't forget them toxic Girl Scout cookies. Ooh, snap. Hey Holly, why you trying to bust us on the cookies, right? The little green berets, not the the little green berets go out there in front of them PX stores or commissaries. You want to buy a box of cookies? Milk around here real quick. Did you guys know that U.S. Army W.T.F. Moments, we sponsor some troops sometimes? Sometimes we'll send money from our own money, we buy troops. Little kids will buy their cookies. 2 boxes of Samoas, please. Those go great with coffee. At any rate, so there currently is a rumor. Again, we got to confirm it. Once we confirm it by seeing either or op-ord or ex-ord or business rules, that's becoming the new term. Business rules. I should have put that on the things that we always like to talk shit on. Military terms. Business rules. That there's rumors that there are soldiers that are on profile and pregnant that are going to be doing a training exercise at one of your local CTCs, Combat Maneuver Training Centers. Oh, we got more comments. The 8th Army Blue Book states that PT will be conducted for 90 minutes between 06 and 08. That's what I'm talking about. But how many units and leaders are actually enforcing it? 0. Oh, I would say not 0, but a small percentage. Because here's what they do, is when there's PT time at this time, there's also PT time taskings that we're discovering. In other words, the CSM, Big Sarge, will go out there and say, we need somebody to go out there and man the roads and make sure that no vehicles are going on the traffic and we got to put a road guard. We got to put a guard out there on the parking lot to make sure that anybody who has authorized appointments, which no longer are being done, but you got to have an appointment slip. Again, Army isms. The time is there, but the discipline and motivation needs to be there as well. Damn right, Keith. On the dot. Where the hammer hits the nail. The axe meets the stone. It's the sergeants, right? Squad leader stuff, like I said before. So I'll be kind of I'm not laughing, but I'll be pretty curious to see the notes that the services like to post out on what we're going to do for standards and fitness. And then what we see in the inbox. And we need to have senior enlisted advisors do this. We need them to brief their SATB stats. It's in my training brief. We need them to do it. We don't need generals to go out there who are worried about their next command or the next star. No. We want to hear it from the sergeants. We need to have the E4 Mafia Or the Lance Corporal Underground. What does the Navy have? Does the Navy have something like that? Do they have an E4 Mafia equivalent like? What do they have? The Petty Officers Mess or something like that? The Petty Officers something? Coasties, do you even go to work? I'm just kidding. Matt says the NCOs nowadays only have time for TikTok rather than know their Janes and Jones. Yeah, man. Yeah, you ain't lying, Matt. Right on the dot, man. Right on the dot. We're seeing that a lot. We're seeing you bring up a good point though, Matt, is that you're seeing a lot of NCOs. It's funny. You see NCOs on TikTok and are doing their little things and doing their dance or whatever. Some of these videos are funny though. You have to admit. Which okay, the genie's been out of the bottle. You should have enforced it. You should have cracked down a long time ago. But what's funny is when you see Big Sarge on TikTok, those same NCOs try to crack down on their soldiers for commenting or posting on U.S. Army W.T.F. moments or any of our media that we have, or a retweet or a repost or a like. Yeah, Pip says the little green berets are almost as lethal as our older counterparts. Oh yeah, man. Oh, you ain't lying. Those Girl Scout cookies, though, they know those little GBs know how to handle it. You're walking out there and you see him walking in. Come on, you've done it. You're walking into the commissary or the PX or just at Walmart or any other store. You're walking in there and you're like, oh, there they are. There's the table set up and there's a stack of cookies and you see the little banner that's hanging from the table. You're kind of like walking around. You don't want to notice, right? And then you think about, okay, I'm going to take a separate exit out there. And then like, they're at this store. They're not at this store. And then you think you're walking out the exit and then boom. Hi, sir. Would you like to buy some cookies? Yeah. 2 boxes of Samoas, please. They'll do some blocking positions too. Yep. They'll set up an L-shaped ambush. That lieutenant, the Seaman Squad is what the Navy calls it, the Seaman Squad. Are you sure? Is that what it's called? Really? That Lieutenant Colonel SF guy is nauseating. You mean that Lieutenant Colonel? I think he's retired. He's retired dancing in his uniform, but he is confirmed. He is a confirmed graduate of the Special Forces Qualification Course and is an actual Green Beret. Amir says, mean to play devil's advocate this day and age, and you have to side hustle by making it 150 mil missing BS. Yeah, you ain't lying. Yeah, you ain't lying. You're right, Amir. I'm going to tell you what. You can't crack down on your soldiers doing side hustles like that on TikTok, making that TikTok money, or Elon bucks, posting stuff on the webs when you're not giving them enough money for chow. You're not even giving them chow. There's an entire do as I say, not I do mentality amongst the leaders nowadays because people look at promotion to sergeant as a pay raise rather than an honorable position of trust and leadership. Exactly. Monica says, it's amazing to see the hyped ACFT revolutionize the physical fitness of soldiers and truly transform them into leaner, meaner fighting forces. Yet when you look across the formations, they look terrible. I'm going to tell you what, Monica, right, dead on. You're dead on that one too. The soldiers are not afforded they're not afforded the opportunities to do it. That's why I don't get somebody who's a PAC clerk. And I've said this before, and I think you remember way back in the day, way back when I first started sergeant's time, I caused quite a controversy because this is before the TikTok stuff and the Twittering stuff got a little more famous, or the Insta stuff got more famous. But there was an influencer who liked to highlight their physical prowess, doing pull-ups and all this other stuff in uniform, working out, and all this time in the gym. But then I said, and I think you guys remember this one too. I think some of you, some of the old school listeners, I said, what does their formation look like? So you got all these guys that are jacked, doing all these fitness competitions and yada, yada, yada. But their soldiers are like, they're just struggling on PT. It's kind of funny when we say, when it's making me look good, see, I inspired these soldiers to do PT, right? Blah, 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 blah. But when the soldiers are bad, it's an individual responsibility. I thought when you wore the rank of sergeant, they all become your children's. It's your responsibility, Sergeant. That's why I said, I think, hey, look, the Secretary of Defense, I think you should get this from the SARs. And a matter of fact, there should be like a notation. If you see something on social media and someone says, oh yeah, this side, this, did this PT test and blah, blah, blah. All right. Here's where we have proof otherwise. If you have some chunk, then whatever. I agreed. Recruiter Times made a comment on social media saying we have to understand there's a difference between them corn-fed, those corn-fed, Midwest kids that were raised on a ranch or a farm, as opposed to somebody who was a neckbeard and just didn't like whatever. Does it start at basic training? I think so. Maybe we should do it like a draft. Do it like a combine, right? Do it like an NFL combine. Have the soldiers up like that. Have the drill sergeants coming out there going, hyping up each soldier. The Service Academy, they hype everything up. They get to pick their post, they're picking their branch, and it's a big spectacle. But then that energy goes away once they report to their first unit. And a soldier who's highly motivated, who is in shape, then starts getting the dog piss worked out of him. So I'm really curious to see what else is going to come out of this. And I'm curious to see, why was that date specific? Why January 1st, 2015? Why was that date? Why was that window selected for January 1st? Yeah, exactly that. Exactly. You got a phone. Yeah, exactly. They're watching it on TV, just like ESPN. Mom, I got selected. First round by for Fort Johnson. Yeah, everyone's all laughing, clapping. Everyone's jumping up and down, popping the champagne bottles, right? You have the commanding general Fort Johnson. I'll be glad to have. I'm just using you for an example there, Amir. We got Private Amir. Yeah, well, we're so happy to have him. High PT score. I mean, looks like a little ruck time, needs to work on that, but looks range is pretty good. He's got some good stamina. I'm sure when we go some of the traders, blah, blah, blah. That'd be so awesome, right? You got to give the troops a reason to enlist. Hype them up. But I want to know why January 1st, 2015. I wonder why that date was selected. What happened in history, January 25th, in the military? Let's see, January 2015. What happened then? January 1st, 2015. DOD. What happened? Let's see. A 1% military pay raise was created. Whoa, there you go, 1%. Food changes for appropriating funds, according to the USD the public site on the food service charges at appropriated dining facilities, effective January 1st, 2015. Discount rate, standard rate. Okay, that was one. I love you guys. I love the guys. You guys are in history. Oh, I love the military history portion of this. You guys are going in the books. That's what I'm talking about. You guys are, all your answers are correct. Your answers so far. Was it 2015, the year that they opened combat arms to women? Wow. Let's see, 2015, combat arms to women. Women in combat. A lot of BAS related stuff. Yeah. Wasn't that when we were testing the ACFT and Fort Cavazos when they started doing the studies on it? It was I think Fort Lee or something like that. Was it Fort Lee or something? There was specific battalions. Was at Fort Bragg, Fort Cavazos, I think Fort Lee, or at the time Fort Greg Adams. Now I think it was during that time. I have to go ahead and go. You know, I have to go back in the archives era. There was an order out there. Women in combat issues for Congress. That was after. I think it was like afterwards or something like that. A year after. December 15th. December 2015. I've been toiling the SecDef pretty hard lately over the mold and defact. I respect what he's trying to do, but no matter how good the warfighter is, making them hungry and sleep with mold is a no-go. See, that's another thing, too. I have friends who are, how do I say this, left-leaning or progressive or right-leaning and, conservative. They both said, we don't give a crap about this shit yet. I mean, it's important, but let's fix this freaking defact mess. Let's fix this freaking mold crap. So December 3rd, 2015, ordered the military, the Secretary of Defense at the time ordered the military to open all combat jobs to women with no exception. I know this partly because I was part of the unit where women were involved and allowed to be in some specific SOF teams, civil affairs and PSYOP. And success. I mean, there's nothing to success, but especially when it came to the roles of the ACFT in SOCOM and in SOF, it wasn't really a big deal because we was talking about the leg tuck and it was talking about specific between genders, yada yada yada. That it was to us, it would just seem like it was just another fun PT event because that was the way most of our, like if you're doing our obstacle course or you're doing some of the tasks that you're doing involved, specifically in a SOF environment, it wasn't really an issue. And then on March 2016, it was announced that the services and SOCOM implementation plans for integration of women in direct combat roles were finally approved. So it was kind of weird and different to see that because there was women already doing that stuff already indirectly or part of, because at the point the battlefield, I'm going to sound like some of the axioms and words that we always troll. The battlefield, it became asymmetric. So therefore, the front line, the FLOT, the forward line of troops, or the FEBA, the forward engagement battle area, has changed to more of an omnidirectional method of combat. There's my patronizing Dr. Knees discussion. Patrick, because that was a solid point in time before Harambe died. So at any rate, it goes back to the conversation. Okay, so there was that time. It was from 2015, January 2015. So I think, and I'm not doing this for tinfoil, I'm just saying I think the assessment is what did the Army look or what did the military look like at that time to when it changed to women being in combat. That's my only correlative assessment. My brain looks at it. I'm like, okay. So we'll see what's up with that. But anyways, we'll talk about that later. That's just one memo. We've got other memos to talk about. I got let me see. Let me check the green room there. Oh, snap. There I see him right there. I got Jack Dona right there ready to rock and roll. So I'm going to take a break right quick. And that way we can get Jack set up and then he can give us an update on that Stolen Valor drama in Arizona. We didn't think it was going to get like this. So I'll let him do all the talking and all the hype. And then we'll be right back. So, shots. Oh, yeah, make sure you refill your glasses, smoke them if you got them, and hit the head in the latrine. Shots.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
Take it from me, Ice. You can't just float around space not caring about stuff forever.
The voice of U.S. Army. WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Shit in the bag, Pogue.
Soldier's tale of wild misdeeds, from the chow hall to the PT grind. You won't believe the things you'll find. Drill sergeant's rage, mud so deep. A midnight rain, no time for sleep. Emerge straight like golden hand. The strangest sights in this foreign land. Drill sergeants rage, a fiery storm. Private antics far from the norm in the shadows where the secrets lie. Army W.T.F, you can't deny. Army W, the stories unfold. In the heart of the chaos, the truth is told. From the field to the base, the legends grow. Army W, the force, the madness we know. Mud so deep, a midnight rain, no time for sleep. Emerge straight like golden hand. The strangest sights in this foreign land. Drill sergeants rage, a fiery storm. Private antics far from the norm in the shadows where the secrets lie. Army W.T.F, you can't deny. Army W, the stories unfold. In the heart of the chaos, the truth is told. From the field to the base, the legends grow. Army W, the force, the madness we know. In the ranks where the wild things roam. Every soldier's got a tale of their own. From the absurd to the downright strange. Army W, the force, it never will change. She'll raise a glass to the tales untold. In the Army's world where the brave and bold live the moments that make us say Army W, the force, every single day.
I am here determined to stop this future atrocity.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe. I suggest we use it.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
Also got my guest. I was going to do a little intro, but y'all have seen him before. This is Master Sergeant retired Jack Dona, friend of the WTF Nation, and a good friend of mine as well, out of Arizona. What's up, Jack? Welcome back.
Hey, how's it going there, Sergeant? Pretty good, man.
Yeah. Don't call me my break. I saw you slipping. Ken, you can call me Ken or Ice, whatever. Oh man. Oh man, so how you been, man? Long time. I mean, well, not really a long time, but we've been busy.
Yeah. It's been a little while.
Yeah.
Since we talked. I mean, the last time we spoke, we were knee deep in the whole situation regarding Steve Slayton.
Yeah.
And it was before. I believe you and I talked before all of the news agencies started to grab a hold of it.
Right.
And it took off and. Then, of course, the primary happened, and he finished last. And we thought, well, that's the end of that.
But, right.
But it's not.
Yeah. Oh man, So, if you guys don't remember, Steve Slayton, he was the guy that was running for office in Arizona, and we most definitely. Highlighted that, and as a matter of fact, I'm kind of like, there's no way he still has his webpage up. Nah, he still has his webpage up. He still has it up. He still has him, portraying himself as a Cobra pilot, and giving the impression that he is. Even after Anthony Anderson from Stolen Valor, myself, you, even after getting unblocked, and then it kind of like.
Everybody piled on.
Yeah.
Fox 10 News did their own reporting on it.
Yep.
Rolling Stone magazine did their own reporting on it. AZ Central did their own reporting on it. Bram Resnick of NBC News did their own. They all did their own reporting on it. It all kept coming up spades. The guy wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just wasn't there. He wasn't in country.
This also kicked off. Now, this is the reason why you're coming on. I mean, we can bash Steve Slayton all night long, but that's not really why you're here tonight. You're here to give an update on what now, because of Steve Slayton, what has occurred, what has happened now because of what Steve Slayton has done and attempted to claim his qualification as true. Where are we doing now? What's going on now?
So basically, when we left off again, it was right before the primary, and in June I lost my father, who passed away, and he was a Bronze Star recipient, Army Air Force Commendation Medal, and he served in Korea and in Vietnam as a navigator, and so Representative Walt Blackman approached me. And he said, "Hey," he says, you really did the right thing, by, writing that report that you did and standing up to, a lot of powerful people and to tell them that, hey, listen, you guys are endorsing a candidate that is in all likelihood guilty of blatant stolen valor and is portraying Dr. DD Form 214 as his actual DD Form 214, showing that he served in country. And so he said, basically, I'd like to put a bill forward, and that bill is the HB 2030, which is the Stolen Valor Act. And he said, I wanted to name it in honor of your dad, because he had heard that my dad had just passed away. And just as an aside, it was actually, I give a hat tip to, my dad, because he was the one that actually, when I was there with him in April, he kind of told me, he said, "Hey son, I got to tell you something." He says, "This guy's claiming that he was in Da Nang in 1974. Well, he wasn't in Da Nang in 1974 because Da Nang Air Base, my dad retired in 1973 from the Air Force, and he said Da Nang Air Base was turned over to the Republic of Vietnam forces in the early spring of 1973. So, my dad was basically like, this guy's full of shit.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't there.
Right.
So,
Right.
So basically, Walt, put together this bill, HB 2030, and very graciously named it in honor of my dad, who I lost last June. And so, what's going on right now, Ken, is the principal backer of Steve Slayton at that time last year was retired Lieutenant Colonel, Air Force Lieutenant Colonel Wendy Rogers.
Right.
And so she is a sitting senator in the Arizona legislature. And, she was the one who originally approached me and basically said, I need you to look at these documents, these photos. Walt Blackman's lying. Molly Ottman of the Mountain Daily Star, they're lying. They're saying that, he never did serve in Vietnam. And so, I took a look at it. This is just a recap, and
Right.
and working with the Guardians of the Green Berets, and I mean, everybody, all the paperwork came forward from PERSCOM, it came forward from the VA, Veterans Administration, and it came from the National Record Center. And I personally, and I do have the text messages, and I have all of them. I saved all of them. And I had multiple phone calls with Wendy Rogers, and also another one who strongly endorsed Steve Slayton was Mark Fincham.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I kept warning them, saying, "Listen, you guys need to back away from this, because it's going to blow up on you. This is radioactive." And so, the Wendy Rogers kept telling me that I was wrong, that the Guardians of the Green Berets were wrong, Military Phonies was wrong, Anthony Anderson was wrong. These are all people that are deep staters. They're all out to try to destroy Steve Slayton, his candidacy. Walt Blackman's a liar. Well, other people started piling on, and here we are. But so what's going on is HB 2030 went through the House, and it passed in the House unanimously. And Walt is in the House of Representatives, and that is a testament to his communications, and his ability to communicate and dialogue with his colleagues. And very rarely do you see a bill of this type
Correct.
pass unanimously. Now, we had a press conference a few months ago, and I was allowed to speak, and so was Walt spoke also. But what was really surprising about it, Ken, was that when we showed up, we thought, well, it's just going to be a bunch of Republicans. No, I think we actually had more Democrat veterans
Right
there than we had Republicans.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. So
that not only that, but she didn't ever. And I just answering a question. Did she ever deny it? Does she deny it even harder? Did she ever eat crow? Does she say, "Hey, look, my bad," or "Hey, I screwed up. I was wrong on this, on the fact that she even propped him up"?
No, that never. She broke communications with me not long after the primary went south, and I haven't had any communications with her. She did post an attack against me and another veteran who his name is Captain Seth Keschel. he's done a lot of work also with this in regards to Stolen Valor. In fact, and to his credit, Cap Keschel was the one who basically called Carrie Lake because they were having an event. It was just a couple months before the primary.
Right, I remember that. Yep.
Yeah, and he was basically pleading with the Carrie Lake people, do not let her go to this event because this guy is, this guy's in all likelihood guilty of stolen valor. And
right.
And Wendy Rogers basically, when at that meeting, at that public event, when she was asked that question, I believe it was Molly Ottman that asked the question. Carrie Lake turned to Wendy Rogers and said, "Is that true?" And Wendy Rogers said, "No, it's all a lie. They're lying. It's all a lie. Steve Slayton did serve in Vietnam." So, there's a lot of speculation that this could have damaged the Carrie Lake campaign severely with veterans because
right.
Navajo GOP basically wrote a letter, basically addressing the public, saying that we've asked Steve Slayton on numerous occasions to provide us official copies of his documents from the National Archives, show us the awards and decorations certificates, show us the orders. All he has is that DD Form 214, which numerous people have said is it's doctored to include I believe the statement that came back to the Guardians of the Green Beret was when they looked at the document that was being produced by Steve Slayton, their response was, "This document does not exist in any of the databases in the federal government." So there you go.
Yeah, exactly. And was running, and I appreciate you expanding on that question too. There were the individual that I had up, that was Walt Blockman, by the way, guys. I didn't mean to. And well, that's what I'm saying. So the audience are saying, what about a FOIA? A FOIA did solve the issue. That it was shown to have been not. So let me get a better picture here. So this is Walt Blackman, who spoke at the time. When actually just not recently, he just spoke at the Gila County Republican Club, discussing the Stolen Valor Act and holding veterans accountable, or holding those accountable, period, who falsely claim military service. He did explain, and he did ask the question why Senator Wendy Rogers was trying to kill the bill, and still to this day unanswered. I mean, this was as of over the weekend. This happened on Saturday. This was a comment that he made on Saturday. Stand with your fellow veterans and choose the hard right over the easy wrong. 500,000 veterans are watching what you do. And this was quoted on March 8th. So I think at this point, okay, so it was the bill was going through. It passed all the wickets, I guess you would say, in the Arizona. I'm not too familiar with Arizona method of politics, or the House or the legislature. So how did it work? I mean, what was was there an indication that, okay, this is going to go great? What was the?
Well, it went to the House first, and I believe it went to the House Judiciary Committee, and there were a few amendments. There were a few changes that were made to it to basically strengthen it, to make it even stronger. And so, real funny as an aside, and this is a testament to Representative Blackman's due diligence. He actually scheduled a meeting with the governor, and who is a Democrat, and the governor agreed to see him. And the governor says, "Yeah, I'll sign this." But she said, "I'll sign it, but I think it needs to be stronger." So we were, yeah, exactly. We were like, "Whoa, she wants it to be stronger."
What was it in the wording that needed to be stronger? What was it that needed to be said to you?
The penalties.
Gotcha.
The sentencing penalties. She wanted the sentencing penalties to be stronger. But so it passed unanimously in the House, and then once it passed the House, it goes over to the Senate, and the procedures are it gets assigned to a committee. Despite the obvious conflict of interest in regarding this matter,
Mm-hmm.
it was sent to Wendy Rogers' committee. And so the way it works is once the bill goes to a committee in the Senate, it's on a timeline, and there are 3 opportunities to place the bill on the agenda. And once it's placed on the agenda, then the committee convenes. They talk about it. They say yes, no, it has to be stronger. This might be a problem. They make amendments or whatever they're going to do, and then after that, it's sent to the floor. Well, first they vote to see should it go to the floor, yes, and then it goes to the floor, and then it's voted on. But if the committee chairperson, which happens to be Lieutenant Colonel Wendy Rogers, Senator Wendy Rogers, decides to not even put it on the agenda after 3 windows of opportunity for the bill to be put on the agenda, it just dies. It just quietly dies. So there's been absolutely no communication whatsoever, 0 communication from the office of Wendy Rogers as to why she's doing this. I mean, why is she doing this? Now, we can look at it from several different ways. If she comes forward and she says she supports it, okay, then that means you made a very, very serious mistake, a very serious error in judgment in supporting Mr. Slayton for candidacy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's gonna do a lot of political damage. And so if she votes against it or does what she's doing right now, it really comes up the same thing. It's detrimental, it's deleterious. But the real people who are the victims here, like and I was talking with Walt about this. I says, it's the veterans that are getting harmed by this.
Exactly.
She is harming our veterans. She is harming in our state of Arizona. This bill was modeled after the Florida bill. It just basically strengthens the federal government's bill. And basically what it says, in a nutshell, I don't want to get into all the legalese, but basically what it says is, if you claim combat service, tabs, any type of accoutrement, any tabs or whatever, or schools or awards and decorations, or you claim, combat service, and you fundraise, okay? You fundraise. In other words, you basically get some kind of monetary benefit from it. That will make you guilty of this bill, HB 2030, the Stolen Valor Act. So how does that work? It is not retroactive, so it would not harm, as an example, Mr. Slayton or anybody else who's done this in the past. But if in the future, say, someone decides that they want to run for office and they claim to be a Cobra gunship helicopter pilot,
yeah,
and they claim to have served in Vietnam.
Yep.
And
as a matter of fact, I'm pulling up, and I just while we're talking, I was able to pull up the notes. There you go, a little bit better there. So the Arizona House unanimously passes HB 2030, the Master Sergeant Orlando Dona Valor Act, to protect veterans and uphold public trust. And then that's where the middle paragraph right there, what you just talked about, the act where it establishes the criminal penalties. And it's I'll be honest with you, it's I like it. I mean, I mean it's funny that coming from a Democratic member of Arizona leadership to say, make it stronger, and brother, you made this is strong. I mean, Class 1 misdemeanor for general impersonation, Class 5 felony for obtaining fraudulent benefits, Class 4 felony for fraud involving $10,000 or more. But the biggest one, like you said, on the bottom, automatic removal from office for any elected official convicted of stolen valor.
Yeah. I mean, and it's good. It's a good, solid bill. And, again, it's not retroactive, But going forward, we're not talking about like Borat, where
Yeah.
somebody freaking
Yeah.
whole bunch of medals,
Yeah.
and
Borat.
or someone walking around claiming I'm General Patton,
Yeah,
But
exactly.
if you walk around with all these medals and you go around and you say I'm General so and so and give me some money,
Or give me some access to something, or give me a speaking engagement, or let me come on post so I can talk on and get some of them PX bennies. Because the misdemeanor for general impersonation is just that. It's just like, hey, because there's some soldiers that man the gate and they're like, oh, shit, there's a general. Oh, crap. And there's some that actually can pull it off. And the next thing you know, they're in the PX, and that's where they start stumbling when they get told, hey, can I see your ID card? We always check our IDs, blah, blah, blah. But you're right. I mean, that I don't see how, this is the thing too, I don't see what the big deal is about how it's laid out. That's if you're somebody who commits stolen valor and or somebody that has committed stolen valor, because one of the things that we talked about on the last time on your last appearance is that, are there anybody on her staff, Wendy Rogers' staff, that had any claims to anything that could have fallen underneath this act, to including herself? Now, I'm not saying that she's got anything stolen valor, but why it starts to ask the question, okay, what are you hiding then? Or what are you not hiding? Or who's a member on your staff? Are they hiding stolen valor? They got something going on that we don't know about?
Well, I'm just going to say this. I have quite a bit of text messages from Senator Wendy Rogers. And, we'll just leave it at that.
Okay. Oh, okay. Well, we'll just leave it at that. That means the audience is asking the right questions. Put it that way. The WTF Nation, they're pretty observant when it comes to stuff like this. What is she hiding? Yeah, exactly.
The bottom line here is this: is if it is, this is anybody who's served. If it is not on your DD Form 214, you do not claim it.
Right.
Period. That's it. It's not in your DD Form 214, the one that's like, they give to you from, when you leave personnel, when you muster out.
Yeah.
You don't claim it. You just don't do that.
Yeah.
And
I've told friends who've retired, even including myself, I have awards that were given to me in the mail that I don't even wear because it's not on my DD 214, because I have to get a DD 215. And if it's not, I'm like, oh, hey, thanks. Hey, we found this award in a desk drawer. Oh, cool. I can't wear that. I gotta get it annotated. It's on paper, yeah. But I got it annotated. There's a lot of individuals that said the same thing. I told some of our retired friends, hey, if you got the award, or anybody who's gotten out, if you got the award in the mail, make sure you file the proper paperwork, and I'll forward Anthony Anderson's information usually, and Anthony helps out, and we'll get these kids their DD 214. But you're correct. You are correct. Yeah. If it's not on your, there's awards that I'm sure that have changed in classifications and categories, like for the Iraq and the Afghanistan campaign medals and the wearing of the Armed Forces Expeditionary Medal. There are different criterias now from the time that we were in that have changed to now. So it's just simple. Just don't wear it. Like you said, just don't wear it. It's not worth it, because then we've had other controversies with other high profile veterans on their service,
For an example, and I'll just put this out here. For an example, if you are a pilot and you fly into a zone,
yes,
and then you fly out,
yes,
and you haven't been there for 30 days, you actually didn't have boots on the ground, you can't claim combat service.
I'm just saying too.
I'm just saying too.
Yeah, I'm just saying. There is I think now, is it a how do I say this? Is it because of budgeting and money that they couldn't afford individuals to just go fly in, fly out one day in Bosnia and get that tax-free stuff like they did back in the Cold War? back after the Cold War, after the Balkans. I mean, is it, I mean, for pilots, I mean, don't they get, how do I say this? They're not boots on the ground, but where does the aviation side of the house? Because, you know, I was a former aviation guy. So it's kind of funny to, like, when I did that video, and it wasn't posted, guys, it was posted on Twitter. And when the Steve Slayton stuff was going on, what nobody knew is that I used to manage flight records as well. And so people were like, what? We didn't even cover we were just covering his D214. We weren't even going over Slayton's flight records at all, that if he was on flight status, he would have. And so I'm glad you brought that up. Yes, exactly. Only saying.
Yeah, just saying.
I'm just saying. Just asking the question.
Non-attribution to any, retired pilots out there.
Of course.
Non-attribution.
So here's
we might have to do another show after.
I was about to say there might be down
the road.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, so it's like combat service for pilots requirements are. Well, you
get an air medal.
Yeah, or you get an medal. Yeah, you get something out of it. It's just, again, that whole for certain flight crews and stuff like that for certain times and whatever. Especially if you were, let's put it this way, if you are part of a flight crew claiming combat service, then the entire crew gets that same combat service that you are claiming as well. If you are only one claiming that combat service, but your flight crew isn't,
there's a problem.
Yeah.
There's a problem, and that's the whole thing. I don't know if they would even have the flight records from 40 years ago from Vietnam. I mean, maybe they would have them digitized somewhere, but the fact that he was claiming that as an E4, he was sent TDY on a secret. Well, the story changed. First, he was TDY to Da Nang. Then he said he was TDY to Marble Mountain, which is south of Da Nang, where the SF people took off from.
Right.
But it was just all kinds of weird, all kinds of weird, crazy shit that just didn't comport with reality. I mean, and I'm not the only one that saw it. I mean, a whole bunch of other people saw it. Anthony Anderson, military phonies. They all looked into it. And it's my understanding from talking to Guardians of the Green Beret, they kept getting hit so many times that they finally flagged. I guess they finally flagged Slayton's file for a while because they were getting so many hits. They were getting so many hits from so many people were pulling his file, and then I guess then it took a while before they finally lifted the hold on his record, But where we are right now is
yeah. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to digress. We went on a good tangent there.
Oh, it was a good one.
Yeah,
it is a good one.
Okay, so it
not
did,
attribution.
No, of course. That only purely we're spared no expense. So the bill passes, and it goes. It's sponsored by the state representative, Walt Blackman, just to give you guys. But now now what happened? It got to the desk, it got to her committee, and it stopped. What? No explanation of why it stopped. No explanation why it didn't go forward. Nothing from her office. Nothing from her comms team on why it wasn't. Because there was a lot more individuals involved in this too. It wasn't just. I mean, you also had a Republican state representative. Quang Nguyen involved as well, and
he's one of the good guys. I mean, he was really on top of this, also helping Walt and coordinating with Walt. I don't know if you know his background or not.
Yeah.
But,
I heard his story, man. He's got a story, man. He is.
Yeah. I mean, it's a testament to the men and women who fought in the Vietnam War, and he's here. And he's now serving as a U.S. citizen, and they just don't cut him any better than him. I mean, he's just Kwang's one of the best, and but he also lent a considerable amount of political capital to get this thing, through the House. So did Sergeant Major John Gillette.
Yes.
He
Yes.
did.
Yep.
John Gillette there, who's serving. He was there at the press conference. We had a couple of American Legion commanders, VFW commanders there, and everybody was pretty hopeful about this, and then it went to Randy Rogers' committee, and it's just radio. It went in there, and it's radio silence, just boom, done. I mean, it's just, and so I think there's two more opportunities for Senator Rogers to put this on the agenda so that it will be heard by the committee, by her committee, and then put to a vote. And the votes are there in the Senate. The vote. I think the only I know Wendy Rogers will, she probably will not vote for it. She probably won't even be in the chamber when the vote takes place. I'm just speculating. But the two biggest, how do I put it? I guess you could call them political allies, is Mark Fincham, and he was one of the first people that endorsed Slayton, and I told him, I said, this is a bad mistake, and he came out and told me, he said, you are denying this guy due process. He's entitled to due process. There's a massive lawsuit coming down, and I said, well, if there's a lawsuit coming down about this, then it'll be solved, because once it gets to a court of law, the judge is going to go, okay, we're going to put this to rest. Mr. Slayton, you will fill out this form. You will request your official military personnel records jacket, and you will present it to this court. And then, the matter would have been resolved. But that never happened. It never happened. It was just one excuse after the other, and one news agency after the other piled on. So, the only other person that's and still, I had an exchange with him just a few weeks ago, and I tried to explain to him, I says, this is a bad deal here, what's going on with this HB 2030. And, he basically told me, he said, you denied that man his due process. You should have filed a Department of Defense complaint against him. And I said to myself, why would I do that? Why would I file a Department of Defense? I'm not even in the Department of Defense.
Right. That's yeah. Not only that, but that's what I mean. We got the FOIAs going, and then the FOIAs are going up. Yep. It is those agencies that are releasing the documents to everybody that we're holding to scrutiny. We're like, wow. So this, so he did.
But this bill, if this bill had been in place last April, would have resolved the issue.
Right. Not only will it resolve the issue, but at this point, and let me put a little bit of political ball cap on, is I think if I was her, I'd been like, okay, it's not gonna slam Steve Slayton, the guy that I was propping up. Okay, I'll just sign it, and then from there I can kind of like distance myself. Has she distanced herself from Steve Slayton at all?
I have not seen anything online or any public appearances where they've they used to take a lot of photographs together.
Right.
He runs a store, like it's called the Trump store.
The Trump store, yeah.
Like that. But I haven't seen anything with the two of them public. Public. I would like to put a little granularity on this, which is it just really it really has me baffled. I have an uncle who was a POW. He was on the Tiger list. His name is Fernando Rivera, and that's my first name, Fernando. I'm named after him. And he was captured in 1951. He was a POW. He was captured at the Fall of Tejon. Every year, the U.S. Army Repatriations Branch has a meeting where they call in all of the family members. Now, all of my aunts and uncles have passed away except for one, and she has Alzheimer's. And so I'm on the list. And back when I was still in communication with Wendy Rogers, I told her about, this was last year. It was in Scottsdale. And she showed up. She showed up with her husband, and we had dinner, and she asked for my dad's phone number, and she even called my dad. She called my dad twice. I have the phone records, and my dad, when he was still alive, he told me, he says, "Yeah, I got this call from this Lieutenant Colonel Rogers. I mean, we were talking about all Air Force days, and so it's just I don't understand the what the motivation is here, or where the mindset is here with not just doing the right thing for veterans, doing the right thing for those who have served. I mean, you know, my dad was a navigator, and then after he was, he did his first hitch as a navigator. He was in, the Korean War, and then he was in the Vietnam War, and he moved into Air Force intelligence. He worked with computers. Uh, you know, um, my dad escaped communist Nicaragua in the 40s. He literally came here on a boat. All he had was, a couple couple dollars in his pocket. My grandparents put him on the ship, and he came to, into the port of San Francisco. And um, he was befriended by of all people, Cesar Chavez.
Oh, wow.
My
Really?
dad, yeah,
Wow.
yeah. My dad actually knew Cesar Chavez in the late 40s, early 50s, and he was the one that basically, my dad always told me. He said that Cesar Chavez, told my dad, he says, this country has done so much for you, and now what are you going to give back to this country? And that's what motivated my dad to join the Air Force. And he wasn't no great hero. He didn't do anything spectacular. I mean, he survived 2 plane crashes.
That's
Once.
Jack. That's pretty spectacular. I mean,
Yeah.
surviving 1 plane crash, okay. Surviving 2, come on, brother.
Yeah.
That's pretty spectacular, man. I'd be like,
Yeah.
whoa, I wouldn't fly
Yeah,
again. But
yeah, he survived one over the Mediterranean. The whole crew bailed out, and him and the pilot were arguing. They were the last 2 to go out, and they were arguing about who was going to go out. And the pilot looked at Dad and said, "You know what, Joe? I'll see you in right mind." And he bailed out. So my dad had a deadly fear of water. So he spent 4 hours in the Mediterranean till they could come in and pick up him and his
that's
buddies.
kind of fun. All right, see you later. See you back in Germany.
Exactly.
Dude, did he beat his ass when he got back to Germany? Like, you left me out there in the middle. I mean, you kind of have no. What was you gonna do? You can't have no choice. You got to bail out.
Yeah, and it was at night too, and and so
God.
he was telling me, he says, he could hear his buddies in the distance, but when you're out there in the water at night, the sound and the waves, is but they kept calling to one another, and and finally they kind of all grouped together, and we got picked up. That was the first time. The second time was, when he told us the story, was I kind of laughed at first, but then well, basically what happened, he was flying in North Africa, and this was near Casablanca, and they had engine trouble, and so they were looking for a place to land, and the pilot found an area, and so they were going in for the landing, and all of a sudden people started running out into the field and waving, telling them to wave them off. So they waved them off, and the plane crashed, and the pilot and the co-pilot didn't make it, but they were about to hit an ammo dump. They were, the plane was about to crash, so the people were waving them away to get away from the ammo dump. So, but you know you know it's to protect the memory of these guys,
Yes.
who served in combat. I mean, I never served in combat on the color of uniform. I was a defense contractor. I went over there after I retired. I went over there 5 times. I'm proud that I was there. I served with 1st Marine Special Operations Battalion, SOTF 81. I was, but it's not the same as, you put it on the uniform and I was getting paid ridiculous amounts of money to do that job, so it's a world of difference, and we got to protect the memory of guys like my dad and guys like yourself. I mean, it's not right.
I know, man.
Some of these guys,
I know, man,
gave everything. You go to any, I tell your audience, go to any national cemetery.
Yeah.
And I do, when I travel, I try to go and you look at the inscriptions.
Yep.
Some of these guys, what they did,
Mm-hmm.
And this bill is important.
It is, and that's why we post. That's why we post call for attendances for veterans that are unaccompanied. If you look at our social media, we post. I mean, we work with other veteran organizations and some national cemeteries that they'll tell us, hey, there's nobody here to accompany this veteran as burial. That's why we immediately post those types of calls for attendance, because like you said, some of the stories that these guys and gals have done in service, and they have nobody to come out. We've only had maybe I'd say a few times. I would say maybe three or four times a year, if that, will a family member come out of the woodwork from some of these posts. Because like you said, you're right, they deserve it. I mean, so the awareness of this stuff, it's not something to where it could just be shrugged off. It's not a big deal. Because once you start saying it's not a big deal, then you set a whole new standard to what else can be coming down the, whatever, false claims that anyone who could say, anyone at this point, it doesn't have to be a veteran. It's to that point where a civilian could say, hey, I saw this guy who's a veteran got away with it. They ain't not going to happen to me, so.
It's a lot more prevalent. It's a lot more prevalent, and it's accelerating. And I think I might have mentioned this in your last show, and Dad was the one who told me about it. He's, because when I was working on this report last April, and I mentioned it to him, and he told me, he kind of smirked and he says, you know how far back this goes, this whole stolen valor thing? And I said, no. He says, well, let me tell you, there was a senator, and he wanted a Silver Star, and they gave him one. And you can look this up, Lyndon Baines Johnson.
Yes.
You can look it up.
Yep.
And in later years, a few of the crew members came forward and said, we were never under fire. He all he did was get in the plane. We flew, turned around, came back. They gave him a Silver Star. I mean, this stuff has been going on for a while now.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it happened. I mean, even to where famous quotes have been made about it. So now this, like you were talking about being aware, there was supposed to be an event happen today, correct? And there was the press conference that you guys were going to have.
Yeah, the press conference was supposed to be yesterday, but they had inclement weather. They had thunderstorms and lightning.
Okay.
And there wasn't enough room in the atrium to hold all the people that were slated to show up. So the event is the press conference is going to be in Phoenix at the Capitol, at the legislature next week on Wednesday, and it will be at 12 noon in the Rose Garden. So if you come into the quadrangle of, on the left side is the Senate, on the right is the House, and off to the right of that building is the Rose Garden. You can't miss it. And so we're encouraging all veterans, every service to show up. I've sent out Walt's Broomhead interview to across the state. Actually, I sent it to every border supervisor. I've sent it to all of the major American Legion, VFW, Fraternal Order of Eagles, the Elks. This is where all the veterans, they hang out in all these service organizations. And so we encourage everyone to show up and, make your voice heard. We're a brotherhood. We're a brotherhood of links that, each one of us is a part of a link that traces back to the founding of this country. And, we are strong when all of us are linked and united together. And so we really need a good turnout, and we need anyone who's watching this broadcast. Once it's posted, once you post it there, Ice, we need this thing to get massively sent out everywhere.
Yep, it's already being shared left and right. So, and I'm seeing some individuals share this broadcast as well. Are you guys going to have this streamed live on social media?
I'm sorry?
Are you going to have it streamed live on social media? The press conference?
Yes, it is. It's actually going to be covered. It's going to be covered by Fox News and NBC News. A bunch of news agencies are covering it.
Good deal.
Hang on, I got a technical issue going on here.
Okay.
There we go. My shredder has a life of its own.
No, I thought it was a dog growling next to you.
My shredder has a life of its own. But yeah, it's gonna be all of the news agencies gonna be there. Justin Lum and Trent Hooker of Fox News Phoenix will be there. Bram Resnick of NBC News, the affiliate, I believe it's Fox 12, NBC 12 will be there. I believe other news agencies are gonna be there. Walt's got the full list of everyone. I can probably get that to you later. Or, I think you got Walt's.
Yeah, we do. We do. I'm just saying, as soon as we get the schedule down, as soon as the links go hot, then yeah, of course, we'll be more than happy to share on all the platforms.
Yep.
So from there, what's expected out of this press conference? Is it just to highlight currently where we're at, like how you just did with us? That here's the status of the bill, and then is it almost like a call to Wendy Rogers to
yes
to sign to pass this?
Yes. Do the right thing. Do the right thing. You're a veteran, and just do the right thing. There has been absolutely no communication coming out of the Senate or from the committee that Wendy Rogers chairs as to what is the problem with this bill. I know that the candidate that Wendy Rogers and Mark Fincham, that they endorsed this guy, Steve Slayton. Walt Blackman beat him. Okay. And, Walt Blackman beat him with LD7, Legislative District 7. They've got to understand. She's got to understand that this looks absolutely petty.
Mm-hmm.
It looks terrible. Who is it hurting?
Mm-hmm.
It's hurting our brothers and sisters.
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly. And it's presenting an image of infighting that the party doesn't need. This infighting shit is got to stop, which is why everybody now is not really, I don't want to say not really. Well, I'm interested in the politics and stuff like that, but it turns off the citizenry. It's kind of like they don't want to hear this shit. They don't want to see a bunch of quabbles, specifically in party as well, because then it makes it sound like no one's got their shit together. You know what I mean?
Exactly right. There's, what is that old saying? It's never too late to do the right thing.
Always, yep.
You can always, do the hard right, and just put it on the agenda. Just put it on the agenda. Let the members of the committee, make their changes or not. The bill's pretty solid the way it is right now, and send it to the floor for a vote. And I guarantee you it'll pass in the Senate. It'll pass easily in the Senate. It's my understanding that the president of the Senate is fully behind it.
I was about to ask, what can they do on that side? If there's a bill that's just sitting like that, can anyone that is part of the Arizona legislature, can they just say, Wendy, what are you doing? And then just like, I don't want to say force her to sign it, but kind of like, this is a bill that needs to get passed. Why, you know what I mean? Can they apply pressure as well?
They could. I mean, what they could do is they could approach her and they could say, hey, listen, we understand this kind of makes you look bad, or you just don't want to touch this. This is, kryptonite to you politically, whatever it may be. If you release it to my committee, then just go ahead and sign the release. Like I'm speaking with Walt, he told me that Senator David Gowan was more than willing to hear the bill in his committee, but again, Rogers has got to release it.
I mean, because it's almost at this point, as somebody just said in the comments too, with so many veterans in politics and elected position, I am surprised that there are so many roadblocks. Agreed. Yeah, definitely agree. Yeah, or you could just keep making memes about it, or you could start clowning her. I don't want to say humiliate her, because then at that point it gets like you said, then it gets petty and you're kind of like on their level, but you're like, damn, dude, do something, do some shit. You know what I mean? Just do something. And it's not one of those things to where I hate watching veterans pit veterans against each other, and then there's veteran drama, because then everyone's like, oh well, veteran drama is happening, and then next thing you know, now that we don't need that. But then again, it's like, okay, at what point as a veteran, I just said the magic word, as a veteran, at what point as a veteran do we say, hey, knock this shit off? It's almost like veteran peer-to-peer stuff. Knock this off. This is the right thing. Don't be butthurt. Sign it. Let's go. It's easy.
Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%. That's the really baffling thing about it, is the silence.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's
silence.
Exactly it.
There's no one from her office.
That's exactly it.
No one has come to the microphone and said, we don't like this bill because we feel it's an infringement on the First Amendment, or we don't like this bill. I mean, it's been washed and strained repeatedly in the House. It passed unanimously in the House. Governor said she'll sign it. It almost seems like it's petty. It's like, what is it? Is it you don't want to give Walt Blackman a win?
Yes. You don't want to give Walt Blackman a win. Do you not want to save face? Do you have something that you're hiding? You don't want nobody, because I'm saying that's the hiding thing. The audience is saying the same thing. What is she hiding then? What's she hiding? If it's retroactive. Okay. It's not retroactive. So nobody can fear anything should this bill pass. Right. Right. Then does that include, like, for instance, say this bill passes and I run for office in Arizona and I have something in my records that's shady. Does that disqualify me?
Yeah.
And I had already been in place. Like, could the bill that I co-sign or sign do me in if I was fraudulent in my qualifications as a veteran?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Audience is like, I'm surprised that with so many office that there are more that can't sniff out the fakes or call each other out on the bullshit. Like, aren't we supposed to police each other up? Exactly. We are supposed to police each other up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, I run a think tank. It's a group of individuals. A majority of them are intelligence professionals. We got together about 4 years ago, and the intent of the group, it's called the Conrad Group. The intent of the group was to basically help patriots, help Trump get reelected, and we were doing a lot of extensive work with the legislature. I worked with Sonny Borelli, I worked with Wendy Rogers, I worked with a few others, and that was the reason why they originally reached out to us. They reached out to me to look at this paperwork, and it just didn't pass muster. So, like you're saying, Ice, we're supposed to police each other up.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. And it's not a ding on anybody. I always tell people when a veteran checks another veteran, it would be like if you have a loose string hanging from your boot and you say, "Hey man, you got your bootlace hanging out." "Oh shit, my bad. Thanks." That's how it should be handled. It should not be this long out dramatic fight or podcast being made about so and so and so and so. And you're just like, dude, all I wanted you to do was just sign this freaking bill. Why? You know what I mean? Because then again, going back to the questions, what are you hiding? So
I mean, what is the reason? I mean, give us a reason.
Yeah.
What is the reason for why you will not put this on the agenda,
right,
so that it can go for a vote? Everybody knows that it'll pass in the Senate.
Exactly.
What is the reason?
Exactly.
It is just, it's absolutely inexplicable. It's frustrating, and you know, if the bill dies, it can be reintroduced, I guess, in the next session, and I'm okay. I'm. There are far more people in the national cemeteries that they can name the bill after. I mean, if that is the showstopper, then hey, name it after somebody else besides my dad.
Right. Right. Exactly.
I'm all about let's do something solid for our veterans. I mean, this is something that everybody as veterans, especially there's a lot of veterans in the legislature, we could all feel good about this. We did this.
Right.
We got it done. We signed it.
And it got this far. I mean, it literally got this far.
Yeah. And we could go to the people and we could say, look, we did this. We did this for our veterans. We did this for our service members.
Your Arizona politics works because look at this bill that we got for veterans. I mean, come on, think about it. She signs it. It's a win for her. It's a win for Blackman. It's a win for you. I mean, if you were to ever run for office, look what we did. Look what we have. This is the bills that we did. I mean, it's just a huge win-win. We got a comment in here. Are there special interest groups involved? Just follow the money. Follow the money. Follow the money. Yeah. Are there? I mean, that's a whole nother podcast.
Well, yeah. I mean, you could go to Military Phonies. You can go to Anthony Anderson's website. And you could go to Guardians of the Green Beret. I mean, there are a lot of people, and some of them are politicians, very prominent politicians, who have been caught wearing EIBs, having the Ranger tab or Sapper, and it's like, and they are not they're not authorized to wear it, and like for example, the Guardians of the Green Beret, they have the wall of shame.
Yep, exactly.
And Steve Slayton is on the wall of shame. Now, if I was innocent, okay, and I saw my picture on it, I'd hire an attorney and I'd go, but he's been up there for over a year now.
Yep.
And there are other more prominent people than him that are on the walls of shame, and Military Phonies, Anthony Anderson. I mean, so it's a lot more prevalent than people realize. So to close the delta that we just talked about, this could be a win for everyone. This could be a real positive for everyone.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yep.
Oh man, Jack, always a pleasure to talk. Always a pleasure for you to hang out. Stay in touch, and of course, email me some reminders, and we'll have the team keeping an eye out for this press conference. And man, anything else you want to say before we cut sling and go on a break?
No, I just wanted to thank you for what you do, and it takes a lot of work and a lot of dedication to do what you do, and all of the other people like Anthony Anderson and Steve Anson, these guys that dedicate to trying to preserve and protect our veterans. And I don't do that because just as an aside, I asked Sergeant Major Anson one time, I said, out of 100 reports that you get in, how many of them turn out to be legitimate? And he said, out of 100 reports, one. only one turns out that the guy is an actual badass. I said, you're telling me that 99 of the other ones are all frauds? And he's like, yeah, he's it's a heartbreak. I said, I don't know how anybody could do that kind of work, and the work that you guys do. And so I just wanted to thank you, and hats off to you. I appreciate your support and everybody's support in this matter. And I'm optimistic. I think we're gonna get it over the finish line. I have full confidence in your army and Walt's abilities.
Same. Yep. All right. Well, first, thank you for the kind words, but we'll keep it posted, guys. And then also, Jack will be more than happy to come back. Because me and him, what you guys don't see behind the scenes is me and Jack go back and forth way before he even shows up online. So by then, there's all the research, the talking, the discussions, the back and forth, the late night calls. So we thank you, and obviously in honor of your father as well for this bill. All right, we're gonna go ahead and take a break right quick, and we'll be right back, and we'll close it up. So me and Jack are gonna shoot the shit for a second. So shots, stand by.
There's a lot of tough talk on Twitter, but there's not a lot of real talk.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Tell me what it is to see when you look at me deep into the photography. I don't really need your sympathy, just tell me your thoughts. Have I got what they got, and is it a plot done for naught? Am I not like you because I do what I do? Who knew that I could lose a few of you cause I bleed blue? But it's true, I know cause I see it every day as I work and I sleep the day away. Like you I have pain and like you I have fear. Can I pay all of the bills and still make it through the year? While I make it home alive, should I pray to the sky every day and every night? Will I hold you by my side? But in the public eye, I don't even have a heart. A robot of the system moving only when I'm told to start. Rip apart my art, I'm strong like a flower blooming. You got it all wrong, I know I'm breathe, I breathe. And like you see, I see. And like you need, I need. And like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human. Like you breathe, I breathe. And like you see, I see. And like you need, I need. And like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human.
Call me a vet like a soldier. Green beret, 21 gun salute, don't wanna see the day. In the constant war zone, in the home of the brave, where they hate the police until they saving the day. I got kids like you, a mortgage like you, so blue lives matter, and so does yours too. All this separation and divide, open your eyes. If you cut us all open, we the same inside. The only difference is I run to the gunfight. Your peace when it's chaos, when the people don't act right. But I'm under scrutiny for trying to protect me. You pull a pistol and I'm shooting for trying to contest me. I got a quick second to make a deadly decision. The media betrayed me like a kid for a living, like I'm cold with no heart, a brain with no thoughts, a body with no feeling, a life with no cause.
Like you breathe, I breathe, and like you see, I see. And like you need, I need. And like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human. Like you breathe, I breathe. And like you see, I see. And like you need, I need. And like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human. I'm damned if I do, and damned if I don't. It's like every single time I say what's on my mind, they go for my throat. They spew evil words, a few are absurd. Always grinding, grinning, and killing my soul with these verbs. Hold me down, like I can't gasp for air. I'm closed inside of a box, like I'm inside Fort Knox. Every time that I'm there, I don't know why they think that I'm different from you. All that's true is I'm a human. Like you breathe, I breathe. And like you see, I see. And like you need, I need. And like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human. Like you breathe, I breathe. And like you see, I see. And like you need, I need. And like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human. Like you breathe, I breathe. And like you see, I see. And like you need, I need. And like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human. Like you breathe, I breathe. And like you see, I see. And like you need, I need. And like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human.
so bad? Is this where you draw the line? 'Cause it's so sad. Tell me where you lost your faith. Is it so bad? Couldn't see it in your face. And it's so sad. I'll wait until you come back. Come back down to me. I'll wait until you come down. Come back down. Why you keep it in your head? Is it so bad? Never heard a word you say it, and it's so sad. Tell me when you lost your way, 'cause it's so bad. I'll see you when I pray, and it's so sad. I'll wait until you come back down to me. I'll wait until you come back down to me. I'll wait until you come back down to me. I'll wait until you come back down. Is it what you want? Is it what you need now? Is it what you breathe? Is it what you're feeling now? Is it what you feel? Is it what you're feeling now? Is it what you wanted? I'll wait until you come back down to me. I'll wait until you come back down to me. I'll wait until you come back down to me. I'll wait until you come back down. Hello, you. Will you come back down to me? Hello, you. Will you come back down? Hello, you. Won't you come back down to me? Hello, you.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
Sometimes when I look at, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, I think it's WTF Army or something.
The voice of U.S. Army. WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
And we're back. It's my you want excited the ganja tunes. Oh, welcome back to WTF Nation Radio, man. Oh man, thanks Jack for hanging out. That was a good talk, man. We could have kept talking all night. We got so much stuff to talk about, and of course, with updates, and make sure you hit that. If you're in the area in Arizona and you need to, you want to make it a presence, make sure it's next week. It'll be streamed, of course, at March 19th on Wednesday at 12 p.m. in the Rose Garden at 1700 West Washington Street, Phoenix, Arizona. Back at Bragg. Back at Bragg. Oh man. Okay, so what were we talking about before we got all heated up and discussing? Yeah, agreed, Cause. Yeah, definitely. Jack is definitely passionate, and like you were saying, man, it's right. It's embellishing records is it's nah. It's nah. It can't be accepted. It cannot be accepted. We have like a lot of conversations to talk about. So we had talked about that letter, the memo, and how I felt about the SecDef doing this thing here. So again, we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens. I think the SART should I think the E4 Mafia, the Lance Corporal Underground, the Coast Guard coffee table, I guess you want to call it. Or is that the Air Force? The Air Force crew members lounge, the airmen's or the Guardians from the Space Force. I think they need to have a heart-to-heart with the SecDef. What people don't realize, when the SecDef was visiting Stuttgart and did PT with 1st Battalion 10 Special Forces Group, there was members of that organization that weren't getting paid some of their pay for deployments to Poland. Been waiting for that. Little information like that should be, or maybe walk around in the barracks. Maybe download Hots and Cots. One of the things that also came out, I'm just kind of surprised this happened. I guess there was a GPC purchase that can no longer, the Air Force Caddy Club. Yeah. There was GPC purchases, and all DODEA, Department of Defense Education Activity Europe. There was it wouldn't be the first time a veteran got in a position of influence where they could affect a meaningful change and instead put themselves ahead of the greater good. Ooh, that's a good one, Red 4. That's a good one. That's what, that's what everybody's waiting for. We don't give a crap about the memos. We just want our soldiers fed, our soldiers housed, and our housing squared away. And now, shipping the shipment of our household goods. Shout out to PCS Like a Pro for providing us all the deets. Make sure every time there's an issue, I always tag it on the post there, so that way we can highlight it and I can highlight them. Megan over at PCS Like a Pro has been providing us a great deal of information, and so there's now school off post school events that are happening with the students, and they can't. Hang on. Let me widen this here. Let me go. Let me get this. Cause says, I think Pete Hegseth will be a net positive. Keep in mind that he's only been in the position for less than 2 months. Correct. Agreed. The troops have been, I would say, cause neglected in that aspect. So now out school activities, all of them have been canceled over in Europe. If you're in the DODEA footprint. Well, I wish we got a better thing right here. Somebody sent us this right here. It's like, I got to put my binoculars on or something like this. So, regret to inform that all, athletic activities established for the weekend have been postponed, and there will not be any attempt to reschedule once funding and travel become available. Yeah, exactly that, Cost. So how are the recruiting numbers? Exactly that. There's only 2 exceptions: travel and direct support of military operations and permanent change of PCS. The cancellation impacts all planned upcoming travel-related student athletics, events, extracurricular activities, and associated staff travel requiring transportation, airfare, or accommodations at this time. All non-missing essential travel is paused. So all the games, all the high school games that are service members' families overseas are I guess they're going to stop. I guess that's it. I guess it's all pausing. That's all stopping. That's it. And I don't know. Are we flexing too hard? Are we saying, yeah, man, I'm now in charge and this is going to happen, that's going to happen, and Doge is going to happen? Are we over-doging it? Do we think we're over-doging it? That's a question I'm asking too. I'm in my mind, like I'm asking, maybe we shouldn't have cut that. Maybe we shouldn't cut this. Are you sure about that? Should we cut that? Was that one comedian? Are you sure about that? No more Friday Night Lights overseas. That's right, Kaz. That's right. That's the deal, man. Oh. You're so heartless, Kaz. You're so heartless. Overdoge. Yeah. Hashtag overdoge. We're overdoging it. That's what I think we are. I think sometimes we are overdoging this a little bit. And I think what we need is some, and I'm not saying this to volunteer myself, of course, nor am I part of some sort of, lobbying group known as Retired Sergeants Major. I'm just saying that there needs to be some senior NCOs going, dude, if you do this, it's going to be fucked up. Something like that, to where it's slowly roll. This is what happens if you do this, and this. Have you considered this, and this? There should be like a sergeant major mentorship program, just like how the generals have it for their exercises. And over in Fort Leavenworth, they should have a sergeant major mentor program, sergeant major, not a command sergeant major. You know, guys who the big sarge shit is always coming out of the CSM ranks. Guys, I don't know. I don't think anybody's advising anybody correctly, nor do I see a reason why we have to have a a DOD response. We don't have to have a DOD response if we have good comms from the DOD. Posting memorandums for all of us to say, yeah, that'll work. And then everyone speculates. Give us the plan. Give us the plan. For somebody, media savvy stuff, they're not really good at media savviness. When I would be like, all right, check this out, Mr. Secretary. You do this, you have these meetings, record this, and this. And then we have recordings of you talking to meetings and talking to soldiers. And then you have senior NCOs coming in saying, hey, Mr. Secretary, this fucked up, that's fucked up, this fucked up. Chatham House rules, nothing's going to get back to your command. All right, bring in this other guy who's had problems that we saw on social media. All right, here's what's happening. The thing about the vax and you guys coming back in and now getting paid. And also, what's the status of the transgender soldiers? Or what are we going to do this? There's no flow chart to this. We did it for the vax, but we're not doing it for the transgender soldiers. What gives, blah, blah, blah. These are the optics that you need to consider, Mr. Secretary, and go. And go. What do you think, sir? Do you think this would be good? Matter of fact, maybe I should just have LPDs just talking to the SecDef, just myself, right here, right now. Mr. Secretary, what I would do, Mr. Secretary, I would just straight up, before you post out another memorandum, is throw some processes out, and then shoot a real quick update. Have your communications guy, Sean Purnell, him only and out of the office discussing it, and then DOD response in light of collapsing everything for one voice, just like our Sergeant Major of the Army, Waymer, has said. We need to speak with one voice, with one account, with one Army. There you go. We should do the same thing with the Department of Defense comms. And of course, what I would also say, Mr. Secretary, is you have so many platforms to use. Not everybody uses Twitter. As a matter of fact, the audience that you're trying to get to enlist or commission into the military don't use Twitter. They don't. They're grandfathers, they're grandparents, they're old people. They use Facebook. That's it. They mostly use Facebook, a little bit of YouTube, a little bit of Insta, and that's it. The audience is not there. So all the tweeting and everything that happens, it would be better off if you posted it on Facebook simultaneously with how U.S. Army WTF Moments and other meme pages like to do. They post something on Facebook, it gets posted on their Twitter and whatever. How we do it, you just realize you were on this behind the stream and just realize it. No, we're still live, man. We're still live. You're still watching the show live, Red 4. We're still live. That's what I would do. Mr. Secretary, that's what I would do, is get your comms guy to make sure you do simultaneous messaging at the same time. So you go, bam, it's on the website. Roger, it's on the website. All right, next day, here we go. Get your IO battle book out. You're working. I'm giving you some free advice here. There will be no invoice to this, by the way. Just make sure you get an IO battle book, a battle drill book, so that way your comms office, in the DOD, of course, the White House is doing okay, but in the DOD, here's what you need to do. I'm going to talk about transgenders. Okay, you're going to talk about transgenders? Flip the page. There's a flow chart on what we're going to do with our transgender veterans and soldiers and what the VA is going to do afterwards. Okay, and then we're going to have messaging flown across Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and nobody truck ranting about it. We broadcast live on 5 different platforms, on 2 Facebook pages at U.S. Army WTF Moments and WTF Nation Radio, on 2 YouTube pages at U.S. Army WTF Moments and WTF Radio, and of course, Insta, and we broadcast live on X. So there you go. It's easy stuff. That's why when a mission statement, there you go, Kaz. A mission statement would be nice to be posted on social media, so that way us, I would say, when I say us, don't I say us? Can we say us? I'm sort of kind of, yeah, us. Yeah, let's revisit the messaging. Yeah, let's revisit the COVID messaging within the DOD, and it should be a that's what you shouldn't do type thing. Oh, you were commenting up now? Oh, yeah, there's a thing. If you hit on YouTube, since you're on YouTube, if you hit live, it'll automatically refresh it. So that way it's catching up at your pace, your own pace and distance. But that's what I would do. If you post a statement out, make sure it gets out on all platforms. You only should have one account, the Department of Defense. That's it. Now, a DOD response. Use your comms platforms. Learn to use the dark side of the Force, and you can even save your comms from certain death. Because I'm going to tell you what, if I only see it on X and I'm on other platforms and I have old Meemaw hit me up, what'd you hear about this? My son's not getting this, blah, 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 blah. Where'd you hear this from? I saw it on Facebook. Oh, but you look at the post and it's a screenshot of Twitter posted on Facebook. Amateur. Just me. If I was your Grand Admiral of Propaganda. So I'm saying, hey, we would like to know, because everyone's now wondering, okay, so what are we doing for the shutdown? What's happening for the possible shutdown? We did talk about the shutdown, right? Amen, cause. Amen. I've said it before. I'll say it again. U.S. Army WTF Moments and WTF Nation Radio should be part of the Department of Defense comms team. I'm just a little biased, but a lot of our posts have been pretty consistent across the board. We even do like retractions and, oh shit, our bad. We didn't mean to post this. And we leave the post up and we update our posts. No harm, no foul. Just like an on-the-spot correction. All too easy. So I'm going to help you out. And I posted this myself on my own social media accounts, only because the audience is there that I'm trying to engage. So the last time there was a shutdown, Task and Purpose did, because we're getting this in the inbox. See, we're getting some things in the inbox that back in 2023-ish, it was easily answered by, social media and, of course, our mill media friends out at Task and Purpose. Patty Nyberg and Max White, which I don't think he's there anymore. I don't know if he's there anymore. I don't know if he's done another. I don't know if he's not on social media, but so Max White did and Patty Nyberg from Task and Purpose did an outstanding blow by blow of what to expect if you are to as a soldier, service member, veteran, of what's going to happen during the shutdown. Dun, dun, dun. Because right now, nobody's telling us shit. Nobody is telling us shit. And the service members are seeing that nobody's telling us shit. So Task and Purpose way back in the days of 2023, right? Isn't that back in back in 2023? They did an article of if the government shuts down, here's what troops can expect. It would be pretty nice to have an update of that. But at any rate, going TDY, it could be canceled if it's for routine training, but if you're still on supporting deployed troops. Need some repairs on base housing? Your base contracts with local repair shops, you might have to wait. Little questions like that was written in 2023. That would be nice to know today, especially since Shutdown Schumer. Can I bring in some Monday edition comments? The left and the right, the GOP and the Democrats, God, this infighting, this fighting, bipartisan for the troop shit seems to be only just a The budget proposed now is the same budget that was approved for the previous administration. The difference is who is in charge. Bingo. That's exactly what it is, cause. So everyone's saying, I'm getting letters and I'm getting stuff from my chain of command. There are some chain of, and I'm going to say this, shout out to some of those chains of commands that are out there that are at least putting out information, trying to let their soldiers know what's going to happen. But right now, active duty world, ain't hearing shit. This would be something that would be nice to be posted on the Department of Defense's website, Facebook, Twitter, streamed, real quick video. Hey, Mr. Secretary here to tell you what's going on with all this stuff in case there's a shutdown, blah, 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 blah. And here's what's happening with Facebook. If you look at our Facebook streams, blah, 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 and it's all information, blah, blah, blah. Do like a little show about it. Never being on Fox News and being a showman. We're doing some good DOD showmanship stuff. Not a ding on him. He just doesn't know, right, Cos? That's what I'm saying. So for active duty members, this is what we found out last week. That the White House, last time, as of the last potential government shutdown that happened in 2023. So what happened in 2023 is that the active duty members, the White House confirmed that it was like during that time that the article was written, that paychecks would be delayed. Still got no word on that. Is it happening or not? So it would be, I guess, it would have some sort of some timeline from there if the shutdown were to occur. And of course, all can expect full back pay when the shutdown ends, should the shutdown happen, and will likely go with no cash in their pockets during the duration. So there's your answer there, Red 4. So under shutdown rules, and this was of last potential shutdown that we're not getting an update about, Pentagon did classify at the time nearly all typical active duty jobs as accepted activities, include all deployed in contingency operations, administrative, logistical, medical, and other activities, and direct support operations. So deployed troops will continue with possibly missing paychecks. Again, this was of last writing in 2023. Recruiting and basic training. We'll still go through all, continue to enlist and all that. You ain't just gonna get paid. PCSs will continue, but moves from accepted activities or non-accepted activities, or as a final retirement move would be a commander's discretion. As of last time, a shutdown was going to happen. Military separations. If you are approved and your separation funded before the shutdown start, you can still get out. If not, your DD-214 could be on hold as of the last guidance. What's up, Matthew? Welcome to U.S. Army W.T.F. Moments, W.T.F. Nation Radio's Sergeant's Time. We broadcast 6 times a week. We like to get around 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and we have 6 different formats throughout the week. TDY, travel and support of military operations to Iraq and Syria against terrorist organizations will continue, but most routine travel, conferences, and professional military education would be canceled as of last writing. I keep saying as of last writing because there has been no DOD guidance or nothing from any of the services about it. Still, it's almost like the PAOs freaked out once the new Secretary of Defense showed up. Man, grab your sack and do some shit. Post some stuff. Everyone asked about veterans, Guard and Reserve, and civilians. Veterans are best positioned to be the weather is shut down, where veterans who rely on services to the VA according to the VA's in-house planning guides. Now, this might change, obviously, due to some layoffs. Nearly all the agency's 400,000 employees as of last writing. Again, this may have changed now due to overdosing. Will all be open. Would not impact, and no, again, do not listen to what all these freaking politicians are saying. Would not impact veteran health care, burials at national cemeteries, or benefits like compensation, pension, education, and housing. As of last writing in 2023, thanks to Task and Purpose. Guard and Reserve will continue to work similar to active duty, but non-active duty for training, including annual training. Monthly drill formations will not be held. You're not supposed to be drilling. Reserve component personnel will not perform inactive duty. Now, this was as of last writing in 2023 when the military, the Department of Defense, faced shutdown. Service members and their families should be able to rely on their consistency and continue every check. Of course, that's one from the VFW said. Civilian military employees. And this is, again, as of last writing in 2023 because we got no fucking guidance. Where's it at? Most civilians employed directly by the Pentagon would face furloughs in jobs ranging from weapons to equipment maintenance, IT support, and vast training ranges in which troops drill for combat. As a result, active duty troops could see training events as large as regional exercises canceled if furloughed civilians are not able to support them. Is that why everyone's trying to make a mad dash to JRTC, NTC, and JMRC if there's going to be a shutdown? And of course, this is all of last writing from in 2023, Patty Nyberg and Max White from Task and Purpose. I'm going to keep giving them shout outs because they were the ones that wrote that article last time. And I didn't want to we were going to post it, but then I'm like, they didn't want to regurgitate some shit that people are like, oh, you guys do fake news. Military contractors is the most unclear, obviously, because the thousands of civilian businesses that run on key services on military bases, from the sustainment of weapon systems to lodging in chow halls. You run chow halls? Chow halls are running? Nearly all workers involved for base housing, from all combat maintenance specialists and construction workers to building new homes and barracks, are civilian contractors. So it's unclear as of last writing from 2023. That was what we got. So again, for this LPD, for the comms team of the Department of Defense, that's what I would do. Is I would immediately start shitting out some fucking guidance on what's going to happen if there is a shutdown, instead of bickering back and forth about how the military is woke or not or whatever, and we need standards, lethality, warfighters of excellence. One of the things that I posted out that everyone was like, I was like, oh, dude, okay. Now, here's the thing. Back in the day, I would say that, back in WW Mattis. Back in the day, the military meme pages used to mock the hell out of the term lethality because it got so stupid that everything was lethality. Everything was lethality. So we kind of I kind of made a list that I posted myself on my X account about lexicon that the military community has openly mocked, that I said fuckers, but individuals needed to cool their jets about. Because now with this new administration, if you now say anything against this administration that we used to all break balls when they weren't part of the administration, and now they are part of this administration, I feel butthurtness is going to happen because now they're thinking that we're making fun of this administration when we've always made fun of these terms like lethality, orders of excellence, full spectrum operations, ready to fight tonight, multi-domain operations, warfighters, force projection, Iron Majors, Sigma Lean, Simon Sinek, Coin, turning the corner, hunt the good stuff, tush push, get the ball across the line, behoove, caveat, and I didn't write the article about Chuck Ritter. So I would hope that this administration understands that the veteran community that more than likely got you into office breaks balls a lot about this lexicon, these words, these axioms that are being said, and I'm just dying. A lot of us are just like having a Mattis rehash. Everything accidents. And of course, somebody said a PSYOP, and I said SF can do PSYOP. Yeah, I missed that one too. That was a joke. Piggyback is a good one still. Yeah, piggyback. MDO, continuation of Dust on My Boots. Hot rocks, hit times, combat power, hot wash, strength, maintenance, mission first, soldier always, force multiplier, synergies, servant leader, ready to fight tonight. Yeah, exactly that one. Warheads on foreheads, bluff. Why weren't you wearing a safety vest? Circle back. So I would like to say to this administration that some of them do listen to Sergeant's Time. These were jokes that we were breaking balls on a long time ago. And if you like to say veteran sense of humor, veteran dark humor and all that, and these are the veterans that elected you into office, this is my only one time WTF moment / political time on Sergeant's Time. I suggest you listen to those that got you elected. There are some seasoned individuals out there that work comms, that have done influencing, that actually kick ass and take names way better than I ever did. That you could probably use some help on that. So that way you're not openly mocked by the veteran community and the military meme pages that are also, they're just, every time we say lethality, every time we hear lethality back in the day, before Trump, before Mattis, before that, it was just overplayed like crazy. We broke balls on it all the time. All the time. So no need to get your panties in a wad because of it. Yar, exactly that cause. We even made a song about Ready to Fight Tonight too. It was funny as hell. I think using AI, I think I'll record that pirate song that I was talking about with Ready to Fight Tonight. I'll have to remember some of the words that we did it. Because I had Princess Ice help me out too, because she would be the one that goes, yarg. It was pretty awesome. Clip the segment, send it to Pete. Nah, you don't have to. Most military meme pages and most military stuff that are listened to, there's members of the administration that listens to it, and they watch it, and they go, and some of them are haters too. And we'll sit there and go, did you see what he said? Did you see what he said? He's even giving you an LPD. Give me a said. So, yeah. So that's my little rant on there. Overdoging, and don't get butthurt when the veteran community that elected you is breaking balls, because that's what we do. I get balls broken on me all the time. So, anyways, I'm going to be off next week. I ain't gonna be around, so I will be taking a break. I will be on I'll be on a week's leave, so next week I'll be out the net. And then, yeah, but it's past their bedtime on the East Coast. Yeah, true. So this is Sergeant's Time, of course, with myself and Spanky, bringing you all Army news, Army policy changes and shifts and rants and rains and discussions and all that. Obviously, if we have a guest, then we go a little bit longer. And then Fridays are FTX with bye weeks. And do we have a bye? Wait, we got some FTX tomorrow? Do we have some FTX tomorrow? And let me check. Yep, exactly. All right, hang on. You guys are distracting me. Let me see. Is Pop Culture Warrior, are you guys doing FTX mañana? I think you guys are going to be doing FTX or something like that. Isn't that the last time you guys did FTX? I think you guys are. I think they'll be doing FTX tabletop games. Yeah, the last one they did was February 28th. Naked Twister, yeah, exactly. So FTX tomorrow. Make sure you tune in to CQ, and you will see glimpses of the WTF Nation Radio staff and WTF Moments admins playing. You're like, wait a minute, is that guy my commander, or isn't that person my CSM playing? Wait, they're admins for WTF Moments? You never know. FTX, you'll catch them playing tabletop games. And then, of course, a Saturday with Nemo doing the weekend co-ops with Valor Gaming, sometimes Stack Up Gaming, sometimes he's hanging out with the WTF Nation kids. And then even sometimes he's even played with, who was the other one? Regiment, too. So, yeah, that's a weekend co-ops rocking and rolling. And then Sunday, the WTF Nation Radio Sports Bar with the actual King Smith. And, of course, what do you hear? What do you say? The coach giving you a veteran's look, optics, and shit-talking on all veteran or all sports news. Yeah, I love their commentary. It's hilarious. The Monday edition with myself, that's not going to be here. That's news, commentary, and discussion. So you won't see me until the following Monday. Tuesday, of course, Pop Culture Warrior. Matter of fact, let me backtrack after that. More than likely, they'll probably have From the Ashes Radio. From the Ashes Radio, our friends out in the Rockies. They do their lives on Monday as well, the same time as we do. So I think, you know what? I think they're gonna. I'm gonna give them a phone call and say, hey, yeah, you want to step in for the Monday edition? So they will be live on Monday on U.S. Army WTF Moments. They will be standing in for me and Massey. And, of course, Tuesday, Michael Cataskillo, known as CQ, the Pop Culture Warrior with his angry staff of Mad Mike and Angry Elf. Oh, the Sarts on Wednesday, TZ and Radar. the Smoke Pit, and then, of course, myself and Spanky. Make sure you share, like, and follow. We're broadcasting live on 5 different platforms, 2 Facebook pages at U.S. Army WTF Moments, WTF Nation Radio, 2 YouTube pages at U.S. Army WTF Moments and WTF Nation Radio, and WTF Nation Radio X at WTF Nation Radio. We're on X. So there we go. So I will be in and out of the net. So if you, again, I'm pretty sure everyone will be okay. I'm just going to be behind the scenes a little bit, so I have to step off for some stuff, and then I'll be back the following week. Man, when is that? When will I be back? Also, I'll be shit posting left and right. So yeah, I'll be back. I'll be back on the 24th of March. So I'll be back. But everybody else is still continue to march. Everyone's still doing the same thing. Again, share, like, and follow. Smash them notifications for those new people that I see in the chats, because Facebook is restricted us a lot. So you guys don't have anything for me. I think we're good to go, right? Shots. See you. Oh wait, hang on. You guys gotta see my face. That's messed up. All small and stuff like that. There you go. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, good night. Exactly that. Good night, full moon blessings. And oh yeah, the moon's gonna be all blood red or something like that. We got some crazy eclipse stuff going, right? Isn't that supposed to be happening right now? So, but anyhow, y'all see. We'll see y'all later. And thanks again, Jack, for coming on. And we'll be looking forward to getting an update from you. Shots.
Hey, this is SEAC retired John Wayne Troxel. You're listening to WTF Nation Radio, the station of choice for all of the badass MFers on the planet.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Where the madness reigns, arbitrary orders driving us insane. ATF 0 time 30, no time to complain. Push ups in the mud, feel the muscle strain. Army life is a wild ride. WTF moments can't hide. Through the fire we survive, in the ranks we thrive. It's WTF moments in the Army's grind. Through the blood and sweat we find our kind. In the chaos and the fire we stand aligned. Forged in the battle's bind. Hilltops in the desert, sandstorms in our eyes. Memories for breakfast, no room for lies. Rocket marches through the night under starless skies. Brothers and sisters, we rise. Army life is a wild ride. WTF moments can't hide. Through the fire we survive. In the ranks we thrive. It's WTF moments in the Army's grind. Through the blood and sweat we find our kind. In the chaos and the fire we stand aligned. Warriors forged in the battle's bind. Drill sergeant's fury echoing in the air. Discipline and duty we all must bear. Battle buddies by our side in the fight we share. In the face of danger we dare. Army life, it's a wild ride. WTF moments can't hide. Through the fire we survive. In the ranks we thrive. It's WTF moments in the Army's grind. Through the blood and sweat we find our kind. In the chaos and the fire we stand aligned. Warriors forged in the battle's bind. Zones and firefights, adrenaline's rush. Silent nights, broken by the enemy's hush. Medics on the move in the heat of the crush. In the heart of battle we trust. It's WTF moments in the Army's grind. Through the blood and sweat we find out our kind. In the chaos and the fire we stand aligned. Warriors forged in the battle. Army life, it's a wild ride. WTF moments can't hide. Through the fire we survive. In the ranks we thrive. Memories in our mind. Brothers lost but never left behind. Army WTF moments in the stories we find. In the Army's embrace, we're forever entwined. It's WTF moments in the Army's grind. Through the blood and sweat we find our kind. In the chaos and the fire we stand aligned. Warriors forged in the battle's bind. Through the smoke and the flames we rise again.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.